Howdy folks, hope you're all having a good one, and welcome to Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. I need to get something out of the way right at the start of this video. This is a very, very good game. And I don't mean, in a Star Wars Outlaws kind of way, where I liked it even though it wasn't that good. This is an excellent game.
We are walking the path of death. What of the curse? Superstitions, atico. Tranquilo.
And the reason I need to get that out of the way right at the start, I want you to hold that in the front of your mind all the way through the next half hour at least, because the first half hour of this game, it's kind of rough. I mean, it's not terrible, but it really doesn't grab you in the way that a game should be trying to in the first half hour, for all kinds of mainly technical reasons. Now, if you haven't seen Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark, well, first, shame on you, go and watch the movie, it's amazing. But what they're doing here at the start of the game is they're recreating the beginning of the movie, which I think is a great idea. The parts that were in the movie, they've recreated here in the game, and they're basically shot-for-shot remakes. I mean, it's incredibly well done. And then they fill in the gaps in between with stuff that they've made up themselves. And I don't have a problem with any of that. I think it's a really good narrative device. And if you have seen the movie, you'll get a real kick, a real nostalgia kick out of this. The issues I have are mostly technical, because this is the first game ever to require hardware ray tracing. And I'm not really sure why. I mean, the lighting is very, very nice. You can see the sun shafts coming through in the light mist, and you can look at the detail on the rocks here, although that's nothing to do with ray tracing, those are textures. And the level of detail in the geometry, I mean, you can see why you need a powerful system to run this game. I mean, the level of detail in the geometry on screen is just amazing. I'm running the game at 4K resolution with ultra graphics settings, and I'm not getting any more than 55 to 60 frames per second, which is fine. It's not a first-person shooter or anything, so 50 to 60 frames per second is more than good enough. But I'm now going to turn full ray tracing or path tracing on. Can you tell the difference? Because I can't. If you can, your eyes are better than mine. The only thing that I actually noticed was I suddenly lost 10 to 15 frames per second. It didn't look any better. I mean, the level of geometry is still the same. Look at all the individual leaves on the ferns. It's still pretty spectacular. And remember, there are dozens, if not scores, of these ferns in every single scene in this jungle. The detail in the geometry is incredible, but then you take a closer look at some of the textures, like this tree trunk, for example, in 2015 called it wants its textures back. I mean, what the hell's going on here? I've seen better textures on trees in Fallout 4. And that's not a joke. Well, I mean it is, but it's not a funny one. I'm kind of reminded of Cyberpunk 2077 here, which did look absolutely astonishing, with all of the details cranked up, with full path tracing on. I mean, it looked just unbelievably good, if your system could handle it. But the thing is, just like Cyberpunk 2077, this game looks amazingly good if you turn all of the fancy bells and whistles off and run it on medium graphics settings. In fact, the only thing you're probably going to notice is an increase in your frame rates. I'm dropping things right down now to medium ray tracing. Can you tell the difference? Because I can't. It still looks amazing. You've still got the same level of detail in the geometry. You've still got the same shitty textures on the trees, and the lighting still looks amazing. So, yeah. Regardless of the lighting settings, my GPU is still working at 98%. It's just pushing out more frames.
What was that sound? Senor, the Jovitos could be watching us.
Jovitos don't like intruders.
Relax.
Shout out to Troy Baker there, by the way. The voice actor that they picked to do Indiana Jones. He 100% nails Harrison Ford's voice. The voice acting overall throughout this game is absolutely top-notch. And I need to remind you once again, this is a very, very good game, despite the sometimes dubious texture work. Although I should point out that despite the sometimes dubious textures notwithstanding, we still haven't actually seen the technical issues that I talked about at the beginning. Don't worry, you'll know them when you see them. They're going to be extremely hard to not notice. So for those of you who haven't seen the movie, we're on the trail of a Peruvian relic, but we're not the first ones. Yeah, here we go. We're not the first ones to get this far. There is another expedition with another archaeologist who's managed to get slightly ahead of us. And they've made camp here. And a book in their camp, which you can collect, which will give you adventure points, which you can spend on upgrading your skills.
This was Forrestal's favorite.
Why did they leave these things behind?
I think they were intent on coming back.
Forrestal's the other archaeologist. So this was the temporary camp that they made while they pushed on ahead. And there's their boat. They got here by boat. How? I mean, this creek's 6 inches deep. There's no way they got a boat through here and over those rocks. So, yeah. Minor quibble, but I thought it was worth pointing out. Well, check out the copper texture on the pan there that Alfred Molina's character is carrying. I mean, the lighting is really, really good. I'm just not sure why the game needed to be hardware ray tracing only, because if you've got a machine that's powerful enough to do path tracing, then you've got a machine that's powerful enough to do rasterized lighting. Maybe it's just a marketing decision.
The Jovitas are near. Poison is still fresh, 3 days. They're following us.
If they knew we were here, they would have killed us already.
Alfred Molina there. This was one of his first film roles. He later went on, you probably know him as Dr. Octopus from the Spider-Man movies. Great actor. Notice that we haven't actually seen Indy's face yet. But that was true in the movie as well. I mean, these are shot-for-shot remakes of the scenes from the movie. There is a third archaeologist on the trail of this relic, by the way. If you've seen the movie, you know who I'm talking about. Belloc, French archaeologist who's working with the Nazis, but he hasn't made it as far as we have. The other archaeologist, though, Forrestal, he has made it to the relic ahead of us. Again, with those shonky textures. I mean, they're not terrible, but, you know, given the hardware requirements of this game, you would have expected, you know, something better than Fallout 4 levels of tree textures.
Spend the night in the jungle.
You could always look at it from another perspective, though. I mean, if the sometimes dubious textures are the worst thing that I've been able to say about the game this far, that's not bad. I mean, it is largely 100% bug-free, which is not something that you can afford to take for granted in this day and age when a game comes out. So that's pretty good. Sadly, it's not the only technical issue.
This is the jungle telling us to turn back.
Go on, senor. Satipo will help you move the tree.
But like I said, don't worry, you'll know it when you see it. Don't know why they couldn't have just crawled under it. It's not like there wasn't space. But, whatever. And ironically, the technical issues that I keep alluding to, they're as a result of the lighting. Which is, you know, hardware ray tracing required. It's one of the game's main selling points. And there's the big reveal. Exactly the way it happened in the movie. And then there were two. Of course, it doesn't hurt that they also have the license for the John Williams music.
The temple is up there, senor.
And overall, the sound direction on this game is top-notch as well. I mean, you can hear all the background noises from the jungle. It's all very, very good. Well, we've made it to the temple.
This is it. This is where Forrestal cashed in.
A friend of yours.
A competitor. He was good. He was very, very good.
Senor, nobody has come out of there alive. Please.
You first, senor.
Yeah, you first. You're the curious one. So this place is obviously full of traps. But I mean, if you've seen the movie, this isn't going to come as a surprise at all. And if you haven't seen the movie, it's an Indiana Jones game, so yeah, there are going to be traps.
Careful.
And even if you haven't seen the movie, everybody's seen the scene with the rolling boulder. You see the ramp on either side of the tunnel, leading up to that very, very suspiciously circular-shaped hole? Yeah. But that's a surprise for us on the way out, even though it's not going to come as a surprise to anybody.
Senor.
There it is. Do you notice the sudden shift in the lighting? Why has Indy's hair suddenly turned grey? Why has he just aged 40 years in 10 seconds? What the hell's going on? I mean, this is a lighting issue, isn't it? And the timing couldn't have been worse, because this is what should have been a great story-building moment. But instead of focusing on the spiders all over everybody, all I'm thinking right now is, what the hell happened to Indy's hair, and why is he suddenly 60 years old? And why is he 30 again?
Stop.
And then the lighting changes back, and
Stay
suddenly
out of the
he's...
light.
You see what I mean? It's so inconsistent. And I should be paying attention to the plot, but all I can think is, what the hell is going on with the lighting?
Forrestal.
You said he was very good.
He was. Just not good enough.
Are you?
I guess we'll find out.
We haven't seen the last of the lighting issues either. I mean, so far they've just been inconsistent. But they're about to get really, really weird. You might want to duck there, Alfred. There it is. So Indy's 30 again.
Crazy, senor.
And then suddenly he's 60. And Alfred Molina's character's 30 again. Wait for it. And now suddenly he's 62. This isn't the weird part though. Indy's an old man again. I mean, how can you not notice this when you're playtesting it? I mean, this is a classic, iconic, amazing scene in cinema history, and I should be paying attention to it, but all I can see right now is the fact that Indy appears to be 70 years old.
Let us hurry. There is nothing to fear here.
That's what scares me.
Look at that. From one shot to the next, the lighting is completely different. I mean, it's all bright and washed out when there's a close-up on Indy's face, which is a bit of a direction issue because, you know, when you're focusing on the star of the show, you kind of want things to look their best. So during the cutscenes, the lighting is all blown out and washed out, and Indy looks like he's 70. But here during the actual gameplay sections, the lighting is perfect. It's just really weird. And it's going to get weirder.
That's it.
And again, it's only during the cutscenes. It's only during the parts where they're actually recreating what happened in the movie, which you'd think would be the parts they absolutely 100% want to get right. It's such a shame, because this is such a great narrative device, recreating the first scene from the original movie. But, well...
That's it.
Well, here's the scene. Everybody's going to know this scene. Unfortunately, at what should be a compelling and pivotal point in the story, the only thing that you're going to be capable of focusing on is just how shockingly bad the lighting is. I mean, at some points, Indy actually looks blonde. And it's about to get worse. Now, it's not just me, is it? Unbelievable.
Give me the whip.
No, Miguel, I don't. No time to argue.
Give me the whip.
Adios, señor.
And no, you're not imagining things. Now Indy's blonde. So many lighting issues in a game that requires hardware lighting, and the lighting is the one thing they screwed up. And it all comes at the worst possible time, not just from a storytelling perspective, but the first 20 minutes of the game is where you really need to sell it to the audience and make them want to continue playing. And look at this shit.
American. Solid American.
Man I knew 10 years ago. I learned to hate you in the last 10 years. Well, where the hell were you? Damn it, don't you leave me down here by myself!
Fortunately, and somewhat bizarrely, it is only in the first 20 minutes when they recreate the opening scene from the Raiders of the Lost Ark where I've seen these kind of technical issues. From here on in, I am very happy to report that there are no further glaring lighting issues to distract you from what is an incredibly good game.
Wait. What the devil?
So we're back at Marshall College in Connecticut. The whole intro was just Indy having a nightmare about his previous experiences. So there's an intruder in the college.
Everywhere. Damn kids. Someone's getting expelled tonight.
It's like he smashed a window and knocked over a bookcase getting in. Following the muddy footprints and the trail of wreckage.
Those are big footprints.
Those are big footprints. Taking a look around, of course, I mean, it's an adventure game. I don't want to miss anything. Although I almost certainly will. But the game has that covered. I wasn't aware at this point, but later on, you can revisit areas that you've already explored in order to search for collectibles that you might have missed the first time around. That's not important right now, of course.
Gotta be some vagrant.
Well, there's a thing over there on the easel. What's this? There we go. Canvas overview. Map unlocked. This is a cool feature. I like the way they've done this, because there are all different kinds of ways that games can give you objective markers. But here in the Great Circle, they actually have you looking at the map. You won't be distracted by objective markers unless you're actually consulting the map. And you can wander around in first person with the map out. I like the way that they've done it.
All right, pal. You can't sleep here.
Oh, he's a big bugger. I think that's actually Tony Todd. He's the actor who, well, amongst other things, played the Candyman. He's appeared in a lot of horror movies.
You asked for it. Whatever you're up to, pal, it ends now.
There is a lot of melee combat in this game,
You see him. Careful.
and I really like the way they've done it. Although this isn't a particularly great example, but when we get to Italy, you'll see what I mean.
Is that the best you got? Non come touch it.
Indiana? I'd wondered where you'd got to. What happened?
Where did he go?
Who?
The giant.
I didn't see any giant.
I caught someone breaking into the museum. He was tall. He took something.
Well, did you see his face?
Scarred. Dark skin. He spoke some form of Latin.
Latin? Well, that is a novelty.
Come on, Marcus. We need to find out what he took.
Yes, righto.
Character of Marcus
This
Brody.
display case has been ransacked. Is there anything missing?
Let's have a look.
Played in the movies by Denham Elliott, and they've done a pretty good representation.
Exhibits that were in this display.
They'll have had to get somebody else to do the voice, though, because he died in 1992.
Look at
Just
this
3 years
place.
after they finished
Exhibits
filming
all
Indiana
over the
Jones and the
floor.
Last Crusade.
Ancient Egyptian, obviously. A depiction of Bastet.
Fortunately, I suppose that means he wasn't around to see the travesty that they made of the fourth movie.
Terracotta. Likely Babylonian out of Iraq.
At least the Indiana Jones video games have always been consistently good.
Ah, look at this. Ugaritic letters.
Ugarit. It must be from Ras Shamra in Syria.
And this one is no exception.
Funerary mask, Brody.
Is that solid gold?
So, we need to figure out what it was that the big fella took. So there are a number of smashed displays here. And he's taken one of them, but we don't know which one it was. So you take the relics that are scattered around, and you place them back in the correct place, and then whichever one is missing, that's the one that he took.
Duck one here, right, Marcus?
Quite right. Ah, well done, Indiana. So, is everything back?
Not quite.
Well, what's missing? SW 003. What was that?
Siwa expedition. He took the cat mummy, Marcus. But why?
The thief may have left a clue to their identity.
Yeah. Let's keep looking.
So the map shows your location and the direction you're facing. Any objective markers are only visible while you're actually consulting the map. But you can have the map out and be consulting it while you're wandering around in third person.
Saw that smashed window down the corridor from your office. Perhaps that is where he got out.
So which way is that? Well, that's the way I came. And I do remember a smashed window. Yeah, here it is. And there's something on...
The front doors were locked.
Well, I think it's fairly obvious how he got out, Marcus, because he left his medallion there on the way.
Broken window. Maybe he got out the same way he came in.
Yeah,
Makes
I'd already figured that one out, Marcus. Thank you. Question is, how do I get that medallion? Because I can't jump up to it. Ah, the bookcase. Little help here, Marcus? Maybe.
Marcus, help me out here.
Coming, Indiana. Oh, don't mention it.
Huh.
A pendant, is it?
Must have got caught when he left through the window.
Let's retire to your office and figure this out.
Good idea. Somebody sure went to a lot of trouble to steal a cat mummy.
It was a beautiful piece. You found it in Siwa, didn't you?
Yeah, 6 weeks ago. Something about that dig.
We can work this out in your office.
That looks Catholic to you, doesn't it?
It's the sigil of the Vatican's secret archive, if I'm not mistaken.
This isn't just about a cat mummy, Marcus.
What are you going to do, Indiana?
I'll need my classes covered, of course.
Indiana,
Dawson seems the likely choice. Maybe Kittredge?
oh, look. Someone's left you a gift. How long has that been in there?
I haven't opened this suitcase for a year. Not since Cairo.
Which would have been the first movie. So this game's set before Indiana Jones and the
Going to
Temple of
open
Doom.
It's a beautiful journal, isn't it?
Which means that'll be
Who's
from
it
Marion.
from?
Yeah.
Doesn't say.
I'm not going to explain who Marion was. Just watch the movie.
Though I must admit I am intrigued. Why would the Vatican want your cat mummy?
Exactly. And there's only one way to find out.
Come now, Indiana, you can't travel to Italy. The college would never sanction leave for this. Not in the middle of midterms. I mean,
Marcus, what's done is done. Maybe I shouldn't have gone to the Siwa expedition, but it was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
and when you got back, she wasn't there.
I gotta go.
You can't just run away from your problems, Indiana.
Watch me.
So this is Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, and minor technical issues, well, they weren't that minor, but they don't reoccur. And aside from that, this is a really, really good game.
On next plane to Rome. Stop. Need help. Stop. Meet me in Vatican. Stop. Indy.
My friend, stop. Vatican not safe. Stop. We'll wait for you at village steps. Stop. Subtlety is a virtue. Stop. Antonio.
And hopefully you're going to stick around for what is certainly going to be a very, very good video series. Hope you've all enjoyed it so far. Take care, and I'll catch you next time.